generator you're about to buy for this hurricane season is probably the wrong choice. Every year, millions of homeowners walk into a store, see the biggest, loudest box on the shelf, and buy it. Not because they ran the numbers, because that's what everyone does. If someone in your house depends on a machine that has to stay plugged in, this isn't really a convenience decision. It's a safety one. Right now, over 250,000 homes in Hawaii don't have power. Some of them won't get it back for months. So here's the honest question. If your power went out tonight, is the thing you're about to buy actually the right one for your house? For most people watching this, it isn't. I'm filling in a scorecard as we go. Cost, coverage, and real-world hassle. Right now, it's empty. One option wins on all three, and it's probably not the one you were about to buy. Here's why the generator feels like the obvious choice. It's the thing your dad had. It's the thing on every hardware store end cap every September. It's loud, it's big, and that bigness feels like safety. But nobody puts the real costs on the price tag. Fuel. You need gasoline stored somewhere on your property, and gasoline doesn't keep its shelf life. It goes stale in the tank you were counting on. Noise. A portable generator with enough power to run a fridge and a few lights runs around 70 to 75 decibels. That's a lawn mower running in your yard all night, every night. The power is out. Your neighbors will know your name. And the one nobody talks about enough, carbon monoxide. Every year people are hospitalized. Some don't make it because a generator was running too close to the house. There's another cost most people don't think about until they're standing outside refueling 1 at 2 in the morning. A portable generator has to be started by hand and refueled by hand in whatever weather is happening. And if you want it wired into your breaker panel instead of running extension cords through a cracked window, that's a licensed electrician and a permit on top of the sticker price. Some of you are already thinking about the automatic standby generator your neighbor has, the one that just kicks on by itself when the power drops. That's a fair thing to bring up and an honest one to separate out. Whole home standby units start around $7,000 installed and can run well past $25,000. If that's genuinely your budget and your need, this comparison isn't really for you. This video is about the choice most homeowners are actually weighing: a portable generator against a battery unit, both well under $2,000, and it isn't cheap either. A portable generator with enough power to run your fridge and your lights starts around $600, and a model comparable in output to the battery unit we're about to show you often runs $800 to $1,500. So let's correct something right now. A generator isn't automatically the safer choice. It isn't automatically the smarter one either. It's the familiar one. Those are different things. So if the familiar option isn't the honest one, what does the alternative actually do? And more importantly, what does it not do? Because that part matters more. A battery backup unit is basically the power bank already sitting in your bag. The one that charges your phone twice before it needs a wall outlet. Same idea, just built bigger, with real outlets instead of a USB port. That's the whole mechanism. No engine, no fuel, no exhaust. You charge it from a wall outlet or a solar panel, and it holds that charge until you need it. Setup is the other reason people reach for one of these once they understand it. No electrician, no permit, no transfer switch. You take it out of the box, you charge it, and it's ready. That's not a small thing when the power's already out, and the last thing you want is to be waiting on a contractor. In a longer outage, you can also recharge it from a portable solar panel while the grid's still down. So a multi-day outage doesn't have to mean watching the number drop to 0 and hoping the lights come back first. Now here's where the honesty has to be real, because this is exactly where the marketing gets loose. A $400 unit won't run your whole house. Let's be clear about the ceiling before we go any further. Here's what it will run: your fridge, your phones, your router, so you aren't cut off from the world, medical devices, lights, and here's what it won't run: no central air, no well pump, no space heater, no electric kettle, nothing that makes heat, because heat is the most expensive thing electricity can do. If a store clerk or a video online tells you a $400 unit runs your whole house through a 5-day outage, that isn't an honest sales pitch. That's a returned product waiting to happen. So does it actually do what I just said on a real fridge for real hours, and does it actually hold that line I just drew? Let's plug one in and find out. This is a standard kitchen fridge plugged directly into the unit, full charge. Right now, showing on the display. I'm not going to sit here for 10 hours of real time, but the unit tracks it in real time on its own display, and we're trusting that number, not a marketing claim. Here's what that looked like across a real day. The fridge cycled on and off like fridges do, and the unit held it, phone charging at the same time, router staying on the whole way through. That's the real number, not the number on the box. The number this specific unit gave us, with a real fridge, a real router, and 2 phones charging alongside it. Now let's actually test the limit I mentioned earlier instead of just telling you about it. Watch what happens when I plug in something that makes heat. The unit protects itself. It won't run a space heater for any real length of time, and if you push past its rating, it shuts off rather than risk damaging itself or starting a fire. That's not a flaw. That's the ceiling we talked about, working exactly the way it should, shown, not just claimed. Now that's what one unit does, but which unit at which price is actually right for your house? That's the last piece. So here's how you actually choose based on your house, not based on the biggest number on the shelf. If you lose power for a few hours at a time, a handful of times a year, you want the entry-level tier, around $400. It lives in a closet, it charges from a wall outlet, and it covers your phones, your router, and your lights. If you're in a storm-prone area and your outages tend to run multiple days, you want the mid-tier. This is the unit we just tested on that fridge. It costs more, but it earns that cost because it covers exactly what a short outage doesn't force you to worry about. And if someone in your home depends on a powered medical device, don't shop by price at all. Shop by continuous output rating and how many charge cycles the battery is rated for, because that number is the one that actually protects a person. One more thing that actually matters, and most buying guides skip it entirely. How are you recharging it once the sun goes down on day 2 of an outage? If you've got a portable solar panel or you're willing to buy one, almost any tier works for an extended outage. If your plan is recharging from a car or a generator, you want a unit built to accept a fast charge because you'll be doing it more than once. If this changed how you're thinking about backup power for your house, hit like on this one. It genuinely helps this channel keep making videos like this instead of hype. Look at that scorecard: cost, coverage, and real-world hassle. For most homes watching this, the battery wins on all 3 without gasoline in your garage or a generator running all night next to your neighbor's bedroom window. You don't need the $3,000 whole home unit to sleep through a blackout. You need the right $400 to $1,200 unit for your actual house, and now you know which one's right for your house and what the honest alternative would have cost you anyway. And here's the part of the money anchor most people never sit with. A generator costs you again every single time it runs, gas, oil changes. The maintenance a small engine needs to actually start after sitting in a garage for a year. A battery unit costs you once. No recurring fuel bill, no carburetor to clean before hurricane season because there's no carburetor. Here's the thing your battery backup doesn't fix though. When that same storm knocks out your power, it very likely knocks out the cell tower down the road too. And most people have no idea their phone might already have a fix for that sitting in their settings right now. That's next. And if you want the honest breakdown on that the moment it's up, subscribe. This channel puts out an honest, no hype breakdown like this every few days, just what things actually cost and whether they're actually worth it for your house.